So, as most of you probably know, Matt Gaetz is no longer the congressman of Florida's District 1. Instead, there's going to be a special election. The Republican primary for that election is just days away. It's Tuesday, January 28th. And early voting is very soon. It's January 18th. Florida District 1 is the district in which I live, and it's where I pastor. Listen, in so many ways, I want to make sure I communicate that it matters far more who gets elected on local levels than it does on the national level. I mean, I'm thrilled that so many people turned out to vote in this last this presidential election. But if you're familiar with the doctrine of the lesser magistrate, then you understand how important local leaders are. So wherever you live, it matters immensely who your police chief is. It matters who your district attorney is, who your mayor is, who your congressman is. I mean, they directly impact you whether you realize it or not. I'm saying that if we have incompetent or unrighteous people in those positions, it literally can affect whether people live or die. I mean, for example, from everything I'm hearing, the police chief in New Orleans failed to secure her city and to secure it properly, and as a result, an Islamic terrorist killed 14 people. Another example of a derelict politician is the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass. She was out of the country hobnobbing, even though the National Weather Service was warning about an incoming windstorm in LA, and as a result, fires erupted in and around that city. I'm saying that that local magistrate was asleep at the wheel. Local magistrates matter. And as a pastor, one of my responsibilities is to remind Christian people what to look for in these elected officials and to do it from a biblical perspective. Romans 13 instructs us to be subject unto the higher power. And wonderfully, in our constitutional republic, we have the benefit of voting for who we're willing to be subject to. From my research, there are 10 candidates from which to choose here in this local election. But who should we choose? Well, Romans 13 explains that it's the job of these government leaders to punish evil and to praise those that do good. As we individually do our research, as we look over that list of these 10 candidates, we should ask ourselves, who is the most capable of restraining evil and rewarding good? I mean, of course, no candidate is perfect, but ask yourself, which of these candidates has exhibited an understanding of biblical justice? And in this election, the person at the top of my list that meets those biblical qualifications, as best as I can tell, is Aaron Demick. And one of the godly deacons in our church reminded us that Aaron Demick took a public stand against Amendment 4 here in Florida. And by doing that, I'm saying that Aaron was exhibiting an understanding of biblical justice. If you're not familiar, Demick is a highly decorated military veteran and he's a family man. I don't know him personally, but from my research, it looks like he's been married to his wife for almost 30 years, and certainly I respect that. By no means is this an endorsement from the church that I pastor. This is just me speaking in a personal capacity. But Aaron Demick is the person that I'm personally going to vote for. And certainly there are other reasonable options on that list of 10. But more than this video is about me suggesting a specific candidate, it's primarily about reminding our Strength for Life constituency about the importance of being engaged in political processes. And again, in our constitutional republic, we have the benefit and a God-given stewardship of electing people who most closely align with biblical values and therefore share our Christian worldview. I mean, just very frankly, I believe that it is an abrogation of a Christian stewardship not to vote, to just stick your head in the sand while the nation increases in unrighteousness. Uninformed and uninvolved Christians are how we've ended up with so many woke politicians in important offices across this land. As a result, many of our communities have become less safe and more sinful. And if the righteous fail to stand, then evil will fill that vacuum. I'm saying Christians need to be informed and we need to be active, whatever the election, wherever you live. We need to be involved, whether it's the primary or the general election. Christians need to vote, and more Christians need to prayerfully consider running for those offices. In this specific election here in Florida's District 1, from what I can tell, as I've already stated, Aaron Demick is the one who most closely lines up with biblical values, while at the same time, he seems to be an individual who possesses the gumption required to stand for those biblical values. Further, I think he has the ability to beat Gay Villamont in this general election coming up April 1st. Lastly and quickly, let me throw out a plug for this Saturday's Run for Life hosted by the Micah 6-8 men. If you're not familiar, it's a fundraiser for Safe Harbor Medical Pregnancy Center, and it takes place again this Saturday. It's January 18th. And you don't have to run. It is a run or a walk. People of all ages and abilities will be there. I will be there. So if you're in the Pensacola area, I hope you can join me. If you'd like to register, their website is PensacolaRunForLife.com, and we will put a link to their website in the description of this video. And remember, Proverbs 14:34 tells us that righteousness exalteth a nation. Whether it's a political office, or it's the church house, or it's your house, or it's your heart, I'm saying pursue righteousness, do it for Christ's sake, and watch God do amazing things in our nation, all for His glory.